A very happy afternoon, friends.
Happy afternoon, sir.
Let's start with GST. I presume all of you have the material.
Yes, sir.
You have the material or not? All of you can come to page number 3 of the material. Are you there? First of all, you are already aware of the fact that there is something called as DT and IDT. Starting first classes of taxation, there's DT and IDT. DT means incidence and impact is on same person. IDT means incidence and impact is on two different persons. And now we are discussing IDT. What we discussed till now was DT. We have understood about DT, saying that incidence impact on the same person. You have the income, you only pay the taxes and you pay it from your pocket. That's called as direct taxes. Indirect taxes, you're a shopkeeper, you're selling goods and you're supposed to pay GST because there is goods and services which you are selling, so you're supposed to pay GST. So the liability is on the seller, shopkeeper. But shopkeeper does not pay the GST from his pocket. What does he do? He collects it from the customer. So he'll collect the money from the customer and then only he'll pay it to the government. Chartered accountant, he renders services to the client. That is service. When he renders services to the client, he'll levy GST. Ultimately, it is the chartered accountant who's supposed to pay GST. So liability is on the CA, but he will not pay from his pocket. He'll collect it from his client and then pay it to the government. Did you understand this? So therefore, there is called indirect taxes because incidence impact is on two different persons. This much is clear. Let's start with the intro. Let's start with the introduction to GST. Let's start. Basic concepts of indirect taxes. What does it say? First paragraph, start. Stop. So we still have customs duty. So that means just because GST has come, those are already aware, GST has actually taken over all the other laws in the sense that they have subsumed all the other laws. Although we have absorbed all the other laws, customs continues to be there. Why? Very good. Because it deals with imports and exports and that can't be removed. So therefore imports and exports continue to be governed by customs law. Very good. Next paragraph. World over, everybody believes that a good system would be to have both DT and IDT. Now, why it is considered as a good system to have both DT and IDT? First, you need to understand some basics about government functioning. Government needs money for functioning? Yes, no? Yes, let's take an example like this. Government requires 100 rupees, let us say, for functioning. Now, they want 100. It's easy to understand the number, so we just put it as 100. Let's say government requires 100 rupees to do their function of running the government. That 100 rupees somehow they have to collect. I'm talking about from each person. From you, I want 100 rupees. Now from you, there are different ways in which I can collect that 100 rupees. Either I can collect as only income tax, or I can collect as only customs. I can collect it as only some sales tax, service tax, something. But I need money to run my government, so I need 100 rupees. So economists world over believe, don't collect it in one form only. That is too much. Instead, you split it over and collect it over different sectors. Therefore, we said, okay, we'll split it and collect the money in different forms. Little bit in the form of income tax, little bit in the form of customs, little bit in the form of goods, little bit in the form of services, and that's how I collect the taxes. What I want you to understand is this. Government needs 100 rupees from you. How does it matter to you whether they're collecting it in one shot or different, but ultimately 100 rupees goes from your pocket? What people have failed to understand is this. What people tell is, sir, I earn salary. This is what every SSC will tell. I earn salary, 10 lakhs I earn salary. For that I paid tax, income tax. I only paid tax. After paying tax, leftover money is there, which is after tax. Now with that money, when I go to buy something, they're telling again pay GST, again pay that tax, again pay this tax. What nonsense they say, already paid tax. That's what I always try to explain. Don't get confused. It's not that you've already paid tax. I did not collect full tax. What I wanted. I collected only little tax there. Therefore, balance I'm collecting here. Hey, do you understand? Just to give you a counter example for you to understand better. Dubai, if you take, Dubai does not have income tax at all. No income tax. Wow. Wow, there's no income tax. There is no income tax. Who cares? Because if you see their indirect tax collections, because every burden has to be put on IDT only, IDT burden is too huge. Give you one example. Like how you travel by Uber. Like that you travel by one cab in Dubai. I'm just trying to tell you how it works. Because there is no income tax, is the effect. You travel by one cab in Dubai. Let's say you are paying 100 dirhams. Just an example. Let's say you are paying 100 dirhams for that travel. Do you know if you pay 100 dirhams, 65 dirhams will go as tax for him. That means your actual travel charge was 35 dirhams. If you can understand what I meant. You should have actually paid 35. Like Ola Auto 29. Like that you should have paid 35. Instead, you will end up paying 100. You will not know. Why? Because I have collected 65 from you. Why did I collect so much? No income tax. No. What to do? You understood what I am telling. Because there is no income tax, a huge amount I will collect in the form of indirect tax. Ultimately, I want 100 from you. You're getting the logic what I'm saying. That is what I want you to understand. So don't tell in my country saying that, I've already paid for income tax. Again with that money, again you ask me to pay this tax. Then there you're paying, ultimately I want 100 from you. That's all. So therefore from in different, in installment scheme I'm collecting. Instead of collecting it in one shot. That's the whole logic here. Did you understand this? Now let's look at the features of indirect taxes. Let's start with the features of IDT. Start. First point. Okay. Second. Third one. I've already explained all this. Next one. And the chuchi, nobody will. They'll not chuch you directly, they'll chuch you indirectly. There's no direct pinch. I mean, you don't have to pay from your pocket for neighbor is asking, kya bola? And neighbor practical explanation, ye bola anta. Okay. Okay. Next one. What is the next one? Listen. If the GST rate increases, automatically product prices will increase. Ulta. If GST rates are reduced, automatically the product price will decrease. Yesterday's paper or day before yesterday's newspaper, Times of India, if you see, half page front starting advertisement of Hindustan Lever has come saying that thank you GST. That is the headlines of that ad. Half page ad is there by Hindustan Lever telling thank you GST. Thanks to you, all our product prices have come down. And they put all the products and said it was so much rupees. Now the new price is so much rupees. All prices came down. Why? GST. Because they reduced the rate of GST in the GST council that was held, and they reduced all the prices of all the FMCG products. They are fast moving consumer goods. When they reduce the FMCG product prices, automatically all the prices came down. Ulta, if they increase the prices, no, they'll not say thank you GST. Yeah, now they'll tell all price went up because so they'll tell because of you only it went up, they'll put it. Inflationary. So therefore it has a direct impact on your pricing of the products. Did you understand this? So either it will increase or it will decrease. Okay. Come to one more. Wider tax base. How wider tax base? How wider tax base? After the total population of my country, whatever population we have in our country, what is the percentage of assessees who actually file income tax returns? Ingu madi 3%, 5% will come. Yeah, out of 100% of the population, hardly 3% are filing their tax returns. Obviously. Why? Think practically, you'll know for yourself. In every family, one earning member, 5 eating members. Think and see. Any family you take, one earning member, 5 eating members. So therefore, obviously, there's only 1 out of 5 there only. There only it's come down to 20%. 1 by 5, so it's already come down there only. 1. Second, 50% of my population is in agriculture, and that is anyway exempt. So they're also outside the scheme. So therefore, if you take the overall population, obviously it will be a few percentage will do income tax. Obviously, simple statistics. Agreed. Whereas indirect tax is not like that. I don't care who you are. You will also always utilize indirect taxes, correct or not? Except for a few students in my class here, Rest of them will go and buy toothpaste. And I found out just now who they are. They didn't laugh only. So you know they did not buy toothpaste. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I brush madilla. So except for those 2-3 in this class, rest of them would have bought the toothpaste. So that means all the wider tax base, that means all of the higher doesn't matter to me whether you're working, you're not working. Are you understanding this? In my example, one earning member, therefore only he comes under IT, but 5 eating members. Now all 5 also are consumers for GST. You understand what I'm talking about? Therefore it's a wider tax base. So obviously indirect taxes are always wider than the direct taxes. Next one. ये मुकेश की कहानी है. You have seen that advertisement. Yeah, right. So therefore we call them as sin goods. What do you call it as? Sin goods. एक साल में इतना टार रोड बना सकते हैं. Sin goods. So therefore we levy extra taxes on sin goods. As and when we read today, you will understand, say for example, tobacco. Now for tobacco, we are levying everything. Whatever possible taxes. Everything we are trying to levy. Why? Sin goods. So that we don't mind. All stunt only. Instead of putting that advertisement on every movie, yeah, you sit there to look at the movie, start. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Instead of doing all that, you could have banned it, no? Ban ella madala. Other double. Ban and all will not do. But the advertisement matra will put saying that ye Mukesh ki kahani hai. Simply, right? And then when you, in any scene, if it comes with bottle, down one alcohol consumption is adon mata dialogue. You can ban it, no? Then if it is so harmful, you should have banned it. Adalla madala. Revenue to the government we cannot. But soon alone the dialogue akpadana. So anyways, the point is these taxes are called sin goods. So for sin goods, we can levy extra taxes that becomes extra revenues to the government. One more. One is called progressive. One is called regressive. Income tax was always progressive. What do you mean by progressive? Wonderful. Higher the income, higher the taxes. Lower the income. So it was progressive in nature. Whereas indirect taxes are regressive in nature. What do you mean it's a regressive in nature? For the shopkeeper, when he's selling some item, will he tell if you are a poor person, then GST will be only so much. If you are a rich person, GST will be so much. Therefore, any customer who comes to the shop, he'll say, where do you stay? What is your father doing? What is your mother? How much is the income they are getting? Therefore, I'll decide. Will he tell like that? Yeah, I imagine if that was the case, then imagine how every fellow will go to the shop. They will only tear all the clothes. Sorry, that's no, today it's other way around. Sorry. If you tear, it is costly. Rip costly. So if you tear another, it will be costly. Correct, it's cheap. It's ulta system now, right? I told you, no? Okay. The point is, it does not care whether it is an Ambani. Ambani also brushes. Howdu. Yeah. With so much money still is howdu. He is also brushing. So you also please. Okay. You will not take example of Ambani brushing. If I tell why you did not brush, you say no Ambani, no. Tiger. Yeah. Tiger does it, but tiger zinda hai. Correct. Tiger does not brush. That and all you cannot. You will give all that example. Ambani brushes, that and all you will not tell. Yeah, as if tiger will brush every day. All that. Brush. So it does not matter for the shopkeeper whether you are an Ambani or whether you are a beggar. The tax is the same, and therefore we call it as regressive in nature. Did you understand? It's not progressive. It is no difference between the rich and the poor. The taxes are the same. I don't care who you are. Unlike income tax, we gave a difference between rich and the poor. Good. Next one. Let's talk about the Constitution of India now. Let's start with some of the points on Constitution. Start. Right. It's a 3-tire. Andre we have auto. More tire alva. Okay. We have auto. Continue. Point 2. Okay. Come to third one. Hmm. Right. So, first of all, you need to understand. In Constitution of India, we don't use the word section. We use the word article. Article means not these fellows who are doing CA. Navella idival illa. Right? Article is what we use the word as. So we call it as article. What is this article 265 trying to tell you? The last part of it. Authority of. That means nobody can simply create a law just like that for taxing somebody unless it comes through the constitutional provisions only. So therefore, if you want to tax somebody, it cannot be just like that saying that WhatsApp message. From tomorrow, new tax. WhatsApp tax. You cannot levy just like that. It has to go through law. Go through law means what? Parliament. It has to pass through a law. So therefore, GST was not there in our country before. So simply can you levy GST? No, you can't. It has to go through law. Therefore, constitution had to be amended for it. Next point. I hope you know, Parliament, if it makes a law, it applies to all country. But if the state government makes a law, that's what we are trying to say there under Article 245. You're saying if Parliament does it, it's for the country. If the state does it, it's for the respective state. One more. Okay. It's just an obvious point. Or the respective people can levy the respective taxes. Okay. Next. Okay, one more time. Your point number C, Article 246. What did Article 246 tell you? Read. Just to give you the example of the erstwhile law before the GST came. Hayden's law. Mischief rule. Interpretation of statutes. Right. Now going by the Hayden's law, you know, you studied this. Hayden's law. Also called purposive construction, also called beneficial construction. Now what was the law before GST came? We had service tax. Who has the power to levy service tax? Center, all India level. Sales tax, state level. We call it as Karnataka VAT, K-VAT. Who has got the power? State will levy. So therefore, 246 is trying to tell you, you decide which tax who will levy. Respectively, they will collect the respective taxes is what 246 is telling. Now come to next one. 246 again, 7th schedule to Article 246, which says there are how many lists? Underline the word 3 lists. List 1, list 2, list 3. Let's start with what is list 1. Start. List 1. Right. So when it comes to list 1, who's got the power to levy tax? Central government has power to levy tax. Example, customs duty. Who's going to levy the tax and customs? Central government will levy. So they'll come under list 1. Before this, we had the excise duty. Heard of central excise? On manufacturing. That also who's got the power? Central government. All this will come under which list? List 1. Service tax. Who had the power? Central government. No, it's okay. You need not know it also because it's all gone. Central government had the power, right, to levy service tax. Therefore, who will levy service tax? Central government. They are all part of list 1. Then come to next one, list 2. Who is going to levy tax? Like your sales tax, that is KVAT. Yes, entry tax, if you have heard of. There's one entry tax, entertainment tax, if you have heard of all these taxes. All these luxury tax, all these are levied by the state government. Very good. One more, list 3. Nothing is there in the list 3. List 3 was meant to wherein both of them can levy, but there was nothing there both because it's impossible. Because they'll fight. If you tell both, no. So therefore, there's nothing in list 3. Continue. Union territory, I'll discuss about union territory as and when I go ahead. Have you heard of union territory? Now, union territories are of two types. One is union territories with a legislature, and one is union territory without a legislature. Now, for all those union territories which does not have a legislature of its own, it will be controlled by the center. And therefore, although it comes on the state list, union territory is not at all a state. So who has to make the law for them? No, you cannot say state has to make. Only state. State means state legislature means they don't have a state legislature. So who has to make the law? Central. Therefore, although it's supposed to be state subject, because they don't have a state only, union territory, it will be made by the center itself is what we are telling. Okay. I'll explain about union territory a little more later. Come, next one. Which year? Fresh. So we made one new amendment because we wanted to introduce GST. We'll start first in the Elinda. Service tax who can levy? Correct again. Central government can levy. Whereas under the GST law, we want everybody to levy. Everybody to levy means both center and state. Because if you remember in yesterday's class, I gave you one example saying that if it is 18%, we'll say 9% CGST, 9% SGST, and therefore that means both are levying. So it doesn't matter whether it is service or goods, both will levy. Ulta, goods for sales tax, it was only state. But now it will be both center and state. That means you have now changed the entire system. What was supposed to be only by the center has become both center and state. What was supposed to be only by the state has again become center and state. So you have to change the entire law. And just now I told you under Article 265, everything must be through Parliament. Because without a law, you can't change anything. And therefore we have to amend the Constitution. And why it never happened all these years? Why it never happened all these years? That amendment of, I hope you know this law is pending from the last 15 years, 19? Yeah, pending from 15-20 years it is pending that when we first discussed about introducing GST in India, we were among the top 20 countries to introduce GST in the entire world. Entire world, among the top 20 countries. That was 20 years ago. By the time we actually introduced, we are still among the last 20. How many countries are there? 190 something. Around 190 countries are there. We are on the last 20. We are there. And some of them are not even called countries. Like our friendly neighborhood. Oh, you will. Now. Yeah, so forget about all those things. Basically, we are telling that we were supposed to be in the top. Now we came to the last. Everybody introduced GST. We didn't. Why? He actually gave the correct answer. You need guts. You need guts to introduce a law and be ready to take failure. You should be ready to take failure and accept the failure, saying that it's going to go wrong and people will shout at you. And you should have the guts to take it. Obviously, no leader has any guts because they know that if it goes wrong, then they will not win the elections and they will lose. And for them, country was not important. Winning became important. And obviously, there is a change now. You know what I mean? So automatically, you need that guts to introduce something. So it took time. So ultimately, most importantly, the point is all of them have to come together because every state must agree for what you're doing. And that was impossible. Why? Because central government and state government will never belong to the same party. And how can you make everybody agree? Not at all possible. So you need somebody to stand there and say that I put your foot down and say I want you to implement this, and that takes time. And therefore you need somebody who can have that push to tell you that it has to be implemented. Ultimately it became reality. Are you understanding this? Now this is not about that government, this government and all. Please understand, because it has gone to so many years, so every government was there. Oh, correct. You know what I mean? So it's not about that government, this government. Every government was involved because this law is there from so many years we were pending, which means every government came and went. No. It's not the question of this government or that government. Every government has put their efforts of trying to implement it. Never happened. Ultimately now it has happened. Got it? Okay, next. So we introduced one new article called Article 246A, telling that power to levy taxes on both goods and first chuki on that. What does it say? You see, next one. something you read now. What do you mean by the word intrastate and what do you mean by the word interstate? Yeah. What do you mean by intrastate? Suppose I sell goods to Mysore. Sorry for asking that question. Yeah, one person is telling interstate. One person is telling a visa ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ mostly. It must be different country also ಅಂತ right? Customs ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. Okay. Sorry, okay. Suppose you're selling goods from here to next road. Thanks. Correct answer you gave. What is that? Intra-state. That means within the same state. Within the same state. If it's within the same state, you have to levy, we call it as CGST plus SGST. This is what you have to levy. Whereas if it is interstate, you are selling from Bangalore to Chennai, then you have to levy IGST. IGST. We'll explain the details of all this. For the time being, understand so much. So just write this somewhere in the beginning itself so that you understand. Intrastate means CGST plus SGST, whereas interstate means IGST. So state to state, if it goes, it cannot be your state or my state. It has to be center only. It neither belongs to you nor to me. It has to belong to the center. Are you understanding this? Whereas if it is from within the same state, then it is both. What is that both? C and S. Make note of this first. Done? Good. Come to next chukki. What is the next one? If you are ready, we'll start. All of you ready? Underline that because that's important. Underline those words which says, in respect of the following goods, the aforesaid provision shall apply from the date recommended by the GST Council. And I've given you a list of 5. You can put it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Call those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are those 5? 1, 2, 3, popularly known as. 4th, last. You know what is that aviation turbine fuel? Petrol for aeroplane. Aeroplane will not go near petrol bunk as 1 liter ಹಾಕಮಂತ ನೋಡು. Right? ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಶೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಡಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡು ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಸ್, ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಫೆಲೋಸ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ಯು ಡೋ ನಾಟ್ ಸೀನ್? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಶೇಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Doubt on aeroplane? No. He's got a personal doubt. He's asking, what about alcohol? Because Christmas, New Year coming. So there are some personal doubts. We'll clarify that on the way. On the way, we'll clarify that, okay? Let's come to next heading. What's the next heading? On what supply? The moment you use the word interstate, put a dash and say IGST. When you say IGST, who has to levy? Obviously, it will be central government. So let's read. Start. Article. Stop. Underline the word shall be levied and collected by Government of India. Shall be levied and collected by whom? Government of India. That is enough. Go to second chukki. What is the second chukki? Just write there only. Imports also will attract IGST. Imports will also attract. Will also attract. Attract whom? Correct. IGST apart from customs. Apart from customs. Right there. Apart from customs. I hope you know import export has customs duty. Now apart from customs you'll also have IGST. Now read that wordings again, you'll understand. Read that wordings again. In addition to the above, It is deemed. It is deemed as if it is interstate. Actually, it is not interstate, it is from United States. Although it is not interstate from United States, but I will deem as if it's a interstate so that I can levy IGST on that also. Did you understand this? So that also attracts IGST. Clear? And therefore next point says this will give power to central government to levy IGST on import transactions. That is what we are trying to tell. Artha agta idea? Come to the last point. What is the last point? Okay, we need to now study about when the supply is said to be interstate or it is intrastate. All that we have to study now. So a few MCQ questions for you. Question number 1. If you see list 1 has obviously list 1 is central government. List 2, list 3, both. And when you say list 1, it comes to central government. Okay, next one. Now, why are we creating GST? The reason why we are creating GST is 3. What is the first one? What do you mean by cascading? Not double and all. Double, 3 ballu, 4 ballu, 5 ballu, bulbul. Right? So, there is no end for that. So, there's a tax on tax. Because manufacturer, when he sells it to distributor, there's a tax. Distributor sells it to wholesaler, there's a tax on tax. He sells it to retailer, there's a tax on tax. Then when the retailer sells it to customer, there's a tax on tax. So it's not 1, 2, 3, it goes on, any number. Do you understand this? And therefore to avoid that only we created this concept here. One more. What do you mean they were exclusive? Service tax can state government levy. No, who can levy? Sales tax only state government can levy, but not the central. They were all exclusive. It was not for both. Next point. Goods we had VAT. For services we had service tax. We had separate laws for each one of them. Last point. So that is why we introduced GST. What is why we introduced GST? For all the above reasons only we introduced GST. Swalpa artha aitu. Yes? Yes. Now come to next heading. What is GST? Let's understand what is GST. Start. Please underline that. Except tax on supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. What do you mean? Bottle is outside GST. It's outside GST because once it comes in GST, then both will share. No, not the taxes. Share ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ cheers ಅನ್ಬೇಕು. No. Taxes both will share, which we don't want that to happen because every state government's pet is because highest revenues for all the state governments comes from and that they will never give up. So therefore you try what you want. It could not happen because they said it is personal. I will not give it to you. I am not willing to share it with you. Cheers and all, no. Are you clear? So therefore it need not happen. So this did not come under. I hope you understand, for anything to come under GST, all states have to agree. Because we have the GST Council. GST Council consists of all states. And if they don't agree, it cannot come. And obviously this is something which is very dear to the respective states because major revenue is from there only. If that was not the case, they would have banned it long back. Why will you simply put advertisement? Warning and all, isn't it? You would have banned it. They're not banning it because a huge revenue comes from all these things. And therefore it's a pet project. So they will not leave it up. They will not give up and therefore that continues to be outside the GST law. What do you mean it is outside the GST law? It continues to be the way it was before. Therefore, what did you underline? Except what? That will be outside GST law. So if I ask you in the exam as a 1 mark question, goods and, I'll put the question this way, or as a true or false question. All goods and services are covered under GST. Answer is no. One, obviously alcoholic liquor is straight away outside, and that petrol, diesel is currently outside, but tomorrow it will come. But when we don't know, when is the tomorrow, but currently outside, that is also outside only as on today. So therefore you can't say everything is under GST. No, everything is not under GST. Artha aitalla? One doubt. We'll come to that. Ella barutte. The book is full. Yeah. Everything will study. Don't worry. All your questions will be answered. Today's class only it will be answered. Not sometime. Ivagte. Yeah. Agle janam pe dekhenge. Aidala illa. Abbi. Right. Let's come to point number 2. What is point number 2? See, we are not telling it is sale which is taxable. I am telling supply is taxable. Why I am not using the word sale and why I am using the word supply is taxable? No, no. Just because you read something free supply, don't tell. No, not like that. Okay, I'll tell. Thanks. Otherwise, no, I'll forget the subject otherwise. Wait. No, I will not. So, no, I will not. Listen, listening. This act is called what? I will not. This act is called what? Goods. Therefore, services also covered here. Then if I tell only sale is taxable, yeah? What? When a doctor does one operation, valle sale amma. Nonsense of India. Who I can use the word sale? So I can't use the word sale because this act deals with both goods. So I need to use a common terminology. So there can be either supply of goods or there can be supply of services. Do you understand this? And therefore the taxable event is called supply and not a sale. And because I've used the word taxable event as supply, it has its ancillary effects. The effects of using the word supply is because you did not say sale. See, sale means there is consideration. Because you used the word only supply. Supply can be without consideration also. And automatically activities without consideration also can also be now taxed under GST because the taxable event is supply. Continue. Super. What is not goods is service. World definition. You love such kind of definitions. Isn't it? And what is goods? You have studied in CPT. Sale of Goods Act. Yes? Go to page number 162. Page number 162. No, it comes at the end of the book. So don't turn two pages only. Go to end. Last in the Urdu style you turn, it's easy. Yeah. Okay. You go to the end of the book. If you come to page number 162, I've given you all the definitions there, okay? All definitions are there, so that any point of time we need to refer to some definition, we'll go there. There, if you see in page number 162, you've got the first one called as, let's study what is goods. Start. Sale of Goods Act has the same dialogue, wherein you know if it's agreed to be severed, then it becomes movable. If it is not agreed to be severed, then it becomes immovable. We are growing crops which are attached to the land. In the General Clauses Act we have studied definition of immovable property. Did we study General Clauses Act? And in General Clauses Act we studied the meaning of immovable property. Do you still remember that? And we said immovable property means land, attached to land. Do you remember all those definitions? And therefore we know that definition only is used everywhere. So here we're telling it has to be movable. So underline the words every kind of movable property. What is the words to underline? Every kind of movable property. So therefore, is it immovable or movable? Therefore, if you're selling land, will you come under GST? Impossible. Why? Right. Or if you're selling the standing trees and crops, no, it is immovable. General Clauses Act, definition immovable include that also. Then when can these trees and crops be called as? Once you say it's agreed to be severed, that means it will be bifurcated and removed, and therefore they become movable property. Did you understand this much? All of you? Awesome. Underline the words which says every kind of movable property other than money and securities. Other than what? Money and securities. Money obviously comes under currency, that comes under RBI. Correct. Securities comes under STT. What is STT? Securities Transaction Tax. So if you buy and sell securities, shares and securities, it will come under STT, not under GST. Therefore, for securities, right there, STT. For securities, you say STT. So they don't come under GST, they come under STT. Artha agoytu. Did you understand about goods? Come back. Come back. Did you come back? So now you know what is goods and you know what is service. Of course, what is not goods is service. One more. Those who have studied service tax will understand this. Those who have not, now you will understand today. There is something called as destination based. That means it is not based on who is generating this or manufacturing it. It is all based on who is consuming it. We made a great departure. Under the regular law, what used to happen was, for example, excise duty. Those who know central excise. Excise duty is on manufacture. That means it is not at the consumption level, it is at the creation level. So the tax was at the creation level. So the focus was on creation when it comes to goods. Did you understand this? So we should levy excise duty. So excise duty is what? On manufacture. So let us put it this way, to give you a practical example. Practically speaking, Tamil Nadu has got huge amount of manufacturing industries. Now because they've got huge amount of manufacturing industries, all the excise duty gets generated there, and the first sale happens from there only, therefore sales tax also gets generated there. So everything gets generated. West Bengal has lots of manufacturing industries, so therefore all the sales tax gets generated there. Excise duty gets generated there. So all this comes from there. Correct? So therefore, if you are a producing state, a manufacturing state, your revenues will be high. Did you understand? Then we change the entire law now. We said, you are producing, correct. If nobody buys, what you will do? If nobody buys, what you will do with that production? So just because you're producing does not make it great. What is important is that there should be somebody to consume it. So suppose I tell you now saying that they may be producing it, but all consumers are in Karnataka. That means your basis of production is because of the consumers over there. Otherwise you would not produce only. You know what I mean? You would have never done the production if there were no consumers for the product. And therefore they said, consumer is the king. If consumer is the king, the consuming state should be the king. So automatically the taxes should go to the consuming state and not the producing state. And therefore now if I tell you, there is a sale happening from Chennai to Bangalore, which state should get the taxes? Karnataka should get, and not Tamil Nadu. Did you understand? Bangalore state. Which state? Bangalore state. After some time, which state? Liquid state. So it is the Karnataka state which is supposed to get it. Are you clear? Can you open the windows? Whichever can be opened, that only. Don't break it. Only if it is openable first. Otherwise. So you understood this much part. So it is destination based law and not a production based law. So it is not based on who manufactures, it's all based on who is consuming it. So consumer will decide how it has to happen. Because you know in Bangalore especially our consumers are unbelievable. Whatever price you put, they'll take. Popcorn. Yeah. PVR, Inox, all this for popcorn. Cool joint if you go. Ashtama. 20 rupees sometimes offer will be there. Buy one, get one free. Anta. So much he'll give. The same thing if you go there. Yeah. That means you have not gone. Because he makes it right in front of you. In a span of seconds. In front of you. You have not gone there. What you will do? You will go and eat that old stock thinking it is new. Ali. Yeah. How much is that? 200 do, 300 do, tago. Yeah. Adalella from when it has kept it, God only knows. Yeah. Here at least in front of you because that fellow cannot survive. Yeah. Istage jaga irodu. Old stock bare itkonde. Elli itkontam. Istage jaga irodu. Adalla ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾಕಿ ಇಷ್ಟ he'll make. But our fellows will pay because they will think 300 means new stock. That's the problem. They will buy. 15-20 rupees means angara old stock adu. Adu is the logic. No wonder our fellows will take. Try in Tamil Nadu, it will not work. Do you know that? Full boycott. Entire audience of all the theatres boycotted. Say they will not buy. They boycott. They said will not buy. Nobody bought from the theatres. They said will not buy. Will not buy. And they were forced to create a law. And the new law has come there saying that it cannot exceed 120 rupees. That is for the tickets. And for the popcorn, some 80 rupees. It cannot exceed. So there's no question of 200, 300 rupees at all. Not possible. It cannot exceed 80. And ticket price cannot exceed 120. Here, whatever price you want. You don't know in the counter you're buying it in black or white. You know what I mean? I think a black counter, white counter, because whatever rate they want, whichever day, with whatever rate, whichever show, they'll put whichever rate they want, and you will pay. Consumer. So they will think otherwise old stock. It's cheaper if you give the movie, let's say old movie, I think it is something. Okay, let's come back. Some of the Papa, sir, you know, once at the okay, right, okay. Yeah, okay. Let's come back here, shall we? Right. Okay. Anyway, destination based. It is destination based. Come to the next heading. Concept of GST. I'll have to make one statement very important. You please put it in bold. All statements made within the four walls is purely fictitious. Any resemblance to any person is purely coincidental. I bear no responsibility for the same. Recording and all is happening. So if they tell, aha, then send a message. Why risk? All statements fictitious. Okay. Let's come back here now. Concept of GST. First point. What is first point? It's a value added tax. Very important for you to understand. The whole concept of GST is based on the concept of value added tax. This is something which I want you to understand well. I want you to take your books, if you have a book, and I want you to take down this entire question what we're going to solve now, so that you understand the whole concept of how GST works. Okay. So as and when I'm writing it, you also please write it in your notebook, because I'll continue to solve. I don't want to wait again for you to write it again. Okay. Put it as GST and put it as VAT, meaning value added tax. So we follow what is called as a value added tax concept. Point number 1, you write it as sale by Mr. A to Mr. B. Sale by Mr. A to Mr. B. I'm trying to explain to you what is value added tax here. That's what we're trying to do. That's all. The experienced students know it, but otherwise rest of you, for you first time. Sale by Mr. A to Mr. B. Sale price excluding GST, let us say 100. Sale price excluding GST, how much? 100. Then add GST, let us say at the rate of 18%. Those who know about GST and have been seeing some bills when you go and do some shopping, and you know it is always split as 9 and 9. So you'll have CGST. 9% on what? On 100. 1 lakh alama adu 100 adu karma. From which angle it looks 1 lakh? ಯಾವ angle alal 1 lakh? I thought this was also 0. Therefore this actually okay, right. On 100. So 9% on 100 will be esto? Good guess. Then SGST again at the rate of 9% on 100. Very good. Correct. Electricity is outside GST, okay? So it is under the state subject. The state has to decide, and therefore it will not come under GST law, okay? So electricity is not shared. Yeah, current order matra you can share. So total 118. This is called as selling price including GST. Did you understand so much? Please continue to write. I hope you are writing. Then I'll write point number 2 here. Sale by Mr. B to Mr. C. Sale by Mr. B to Mr. C. What is the purchase price for B? What is the purchase price? Here you know it. At what price did he buy? Although he bought it as 118, I will always take it as excluding GST. It comes to only 100. I'll explain to you why I'm doing this. See the board. If I take it as 118 here, then again if I levy taxes for selling it to C, there will be a tax on tax. That will become cascading effect. That 18 is also taken here, and on that again if I levy taxes now for selling it, there will be a tax on. So therefore, to avoid cascading effect, we don't take the tax part, we take only the sale price. Sale price excluding the tax part. Did you understand this? Take that. Then add value addition. Add value addition. Now value addition means his profit plus his expenses. I hope you understand. If he's running a shop, he'll have his own expenses for running the shop. Excuse me, he is not Mother Teresa organization. Buy at 100, sell at 100, bale bale. Yeah, ad bale bale alla, tan tan gopal. And therefore, he has to buy at 100, he has to put his own value addition to it. Okay. Let's say his profit plus all the expenses put together is 20. Are you understanding? I'm just taking an example of one unit and I'm solving it for you so that you understand this. Total 120 becomes his sale price excluding, very good, excluding GST, his sale price will become 120. For this 120, as usual, now you add GST at the rate of 18%. GST at the rate of 18%. Let's start. CGST at the rate of 9% on 120. Nonsense of India. What is my sale price? It's on 120. So on 120, how much will it come to? If you have calculators, you tell. 10.8. Some of them are not using calculator because battery waste agutte. You are all the toothpaste fellows only. Then SGST at the rate of 9% again on 120. Again 10.80. Correct? Therefore, what will be his selling price? Including GST, selling price will become 141.60. This much you write first. Then I'll explain to you what happens next. Written? In the books of B. In whose books? In the books of B. If you see Mr. B here, I want you to understand two words from now on, okay? This is for the entire GST law, you need to remember these two words. When I sell, it is called output tax. When I buy, it is called input tax. Common sense only. When I buy, it's called input tax. When I sell, it's called output tax. See, everything is GST. But to understand better, we better call it as input tax and output tax. Now you tell me from Mr. B's point of view, what is the input tax? 18. How? Here, 9 plus 9. What is the output tax? Artha agta idea? So there's an input tax, output tax. You are understanding so much? Now see here. Obviously, when you were supposed to collect how much money? 120 from Mr. C. But you've added extra taxes and collected 141.6. Is 141.6 your money? No, how much is not your money? This is not your money, you have to pay to the government. Agreed? Okay, we call this as output tax. Now the output tax, CGST and SGST, and I'll put one total also. 10.8, 10.8 total, 21.6. Now, obviously this 21.6 is not your money, because your money is only 120. So this 21.6 you have to pay to the government. Fast. Now comes the beauty of law. The beauty of law says, although you have collected this 21.6 extra, which is supposed to pay to the government, out of 21.6 you will say, I have already paid 18. I have already paid 18 at the time of buying the goods. That is tax only I paid, because otherwise I should have paid 100. I was supposed to pay 100, but how much I paid? So diya na extra. Kitna diya extra? 18. So therefore out of 21.6 I have already paid. So I will say now I will minus the ITC. ITC meaning not that cigarette company. Input tax credit. Very good. So we call this as input tax credit. So you have a credit of input taxes. How much was that? 9, 18. Therefore, how much CGST will I pay? Pay 1.8 here. Pay 1.8 here total. 3.60 he has to pay. Did you understand till here? Now why is he paying only 3.6 and not 21.6? He has already paid 18 for that is also tax only he has paid. Because for the goods it was 100, but he has paid 18 extra. That is for the tax. So he'll say, I have already paid 18, therefore now I'll pay only the difference. That is kitna 3.6. If you have completed writing, then I'll explain. Very good. Complete it, I'll explain. Go. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Jaldi.
Yes,
Done all of you?
Yes, sir.
Now look at it. What was the first point we read just now? We said it's a value added tax. See the board. See the board, please. From Mr. A, Mr. B bought it. And then he has sold it to C. What is the value addition he has done? 20. So we say value addition by Mr. B is equal to 20, and therefore he has to levy tax only on the 20. So 20 into 18% is equal to 3.60. Ade 3.60. Okay. And that's why it is called value added tax. That means the tax you are paying is actually for the value addition. So we call GST as a value added tax, because ultimately the tax you pay is only for the value addition. If you have understood the mathematics of what I have written here, you can answer the question what I am going to ask you now, once you are done. Are you done? Okay. If you have understood the mathematics here, you will easily understand the question I am asking you. If I tell Mr. B is a Mother Teresa organization where they'll buy at 100, sell at 100, then your value added tax will become 0. Because obviously, see here, on 100, this is what you have paid. Here, if you're not going to add anything, then 100 will remain 100 only. For 100 again it will be 9 and 9. So for 9, 9 again you have paid 9, 9, so it will become 0. Therefore your value added tax will become 0. That means if there is no value addition, there is no extra tax. You know what I meant now? That means there is no cascading effect. There is no tax on, tax on, tax on, tax is not happening. So we call this as a value added tax. Did you understand? Take this fellow now. Who? Yeah. He would have bought it from somebody else. Yeah. For him also one step next. So what he will tell I have collected 18, but this is my output, but I have already paid to one more fellow before me. Yeah. He will tell, okay, with him it goes on. The chain goes on. I'm showing you one picture here, but the chain goes on this side also, that side also. You know what I mean? Now C gives it to D, then this side. It's a chain from one fellow to, but the chain continues. This much you understood? Let me just break the chain here in the sense that assume he was the consumer. Who? C. C is the consumer. C for consumer. C for, if C was the consumer, that means he is not going to sell it to anybody. So therefore, for Mr. C, how much is the tax he has paid? 10.8 and 10.8 he has paid. Come on, India. See the board. Although he has paid how much money? 10.8 and 10.8. What I wanted to understand about this is, I'm talking about the government now. About whom? Government. From the government point of view, from A, from whom? A. How much is the money they would have got from A? 9. I'm assuming that A has not got before this some set of, I'm assuming like that, okay? 9 and 9, this is 18. From B, how much did B pay? 1.8, 1.8, 3.6. So government got 10.8, 10.8, 21.6. Now you as a consumer, you had paid 10.8, 10.8, and that 10.8 went to government. Whatever you paid, 10.8, 10.8 has gone to government. But did it go in one shot or in installment? That is why it's called as a chain. So it is a chain of activities which happens right from manufacturer level to consumer level. And at every stage there will be many. I hope you know between manufacturer and you there's a big gap. Every stage there will be validation. So by the time it reaches you, there will be some validations which would have happened. Whatever you have paid, it would have gone to the government, not from here, from there. At every stage by stage. That is what I've just shown you 2 stages. That's why only 2 entries are there. If I put it right from beginning, then you'll have many stages. But did you understand the whole flow of it? And ultimately what you have paid as taxes has gone to the government. But has it gone directly? No, it's gone indirectly over installments of different chains. Artha. So your 10.8 and 10.8 did go to the government, but in 2 different stages because I've written only for 2. If I write for 10, it'll go in 10 different stages to them. I think you understood this. Yes, all of you? Yes, you can complete this part also, then I'll explain something more. Artha aita? Some of the students who have joined for GST alone, some of them wanted to attend in the morning. So those who want to attend in the morning can still attend in the morning. So some of you who wanted to attend in the morning, so from tomorrow if you want, you can attend in the morning. All of you don't come like that. So some of you who were wanting to attend in the morning, you please attend in the morning. Okay. Anyway, just because I've already said that, tomorrow class timings will be late by half an hour. That means your class will start instead of 7, it will be 7:30, and instead of 3, it will be 3:30. That's the only change. Otherwise, everything else is same. You know what I mean? Right. Timings, everything will be the same, except for 7, it will be 7:30, and instead of 3, it will be 3:30. Otherwise, it all remains the same. Okay. You're done with this? Let's now read page number 5. Let's start with page number 5. Concept of GST. Point number 1. Now you practically understood why it's called value added tax. Correct? Second. You have understood that also I called as continuous chain of tax credits. You pay there and claim it as a credit here. You pay and claim it as a credit here. Artha ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ? All of you. Next one. Ultimately, who finally bears everything? Because it's an indirect tax. Ultimately, the pinch is on whom? Consumer. So ultimately, if you see all put together, this tax who is paying? Customer only is paying. Correct or not? So if he is the end consumer, he is the one who is going to bear all. He cannot pass it on to anybody because he is the consumer for it. Next. Already explained. There's no tax on tax here. Next. See, 1 minute. When I say there is no tax on tax, no, don't link it like what I told you just beginning. On salary, I've already paid tax. Now again, when I go to shop, I'm buying, again I'm paying. Where you're telling there's no, what I meant was there's no tax on taxes between manufacturer till the consumer. In this chain, there is no, that is the meaning of there's no tax. When I say no cascading effect, don't think it that way. DT is there, IDT is there. No, that is different. I'm telling here, there is no tax on tax. That's what we meant. Are you understanding this? One more. Dual GST model in India. Read that. Start. Stop. Underline the word concurrently by center and state. This I don't want. This you can avoid. I don't like these fans. I have a lot of fans. Correct. Now he's wondering why did I go there. Every person is giving orders. Ange, inge anta. Okay. And full dumb charades and all they're playing. Okay. We are back? Yes? Okay. Did you understand till here? What is the wording suited just now? Dual. And what is the underlying words? If you see every transaction, both of them are levying tax. What do you mean both of them? Center also, state also. So therefore, this is the first time you are seeing that for every transaction, both of them are levying. That's why we amended the entire constitution and say we'll give the rights to both of them to levy taxes. Of course, that I've already explained. If it is for inter, both. If it is for inter, only one fellow will levy. That is the central government. That I've already explained. Correct? Okay. Continue. Next one. Next point. Ilva. Point number 6. Point number 6, start. So for purpose of collecting CGST, see the board here? For collecting the CGST, there's one act. What is the act called? 2000. Latest law we have got, and that's why you know it, the law only came only from July. Because we had to wait for the Q1 to get over. Q1 is April, May and June. So from Q2, we introduced GST. Did you understand this? So when Q2 started, we introduced this GST. So fresh law. So CGST is from this. And there's only one law called as the CGST Act 2017. So there's only one act. Whereas this SGST, because it is a respective state, every state had to pass their own SGST law. So if it is Karnataka, Karnataka will have Karnataka state GST. Tamil Nadu will have Tamil Nadu state GST. Telangana was the first state to adopt GST. So they have Telangana state GST. So like that. So every state will have their own. That means that many state laws are created. Hope you're understanding what I'm talking about. Okay. So therefore, can you read the second one now? State governments or the union territories with bracket. It was Pondicherry, now it is called Puducherry. Okay. This is now general knowledge only. Union territories are of two types. One having their own state legislature, one more not having their own state legislature. Delhi and Puducherry have their own state legislature. Delhi, although it's a union territory, has its own state legislature and they have a chief minister. Per ke? Up. The up. that means that's a UT, Union Territory, but having its own state legislation. Therefore, it's as good as SGST. For me, that is as good as, although it's UT, I'll call it as SGST only. Are you understanding this? Continue, one more. Without a state legislature. Examples? That's the point, right? Wherein there is a single legislation called UT-GST Act of 27. So CGST also is one act. UT-GST also one act. But for all the states, that many acts. You know what I mean by that many acts? Every state will have its own acts. Artha aita. Then why do we call it as, for GST, the greatest dialogue of GST is one nation, one tax. You're putting so many taxes and you're telling every state has its own law. Then how it is one nation, one tax? Under the old law, KVAT, under Karnataka value added tax, had its own systems, different from Tamil Nadu value added tax. They will have their own systems. Samajh mein aa raha hai kya? Bihar, they'll have nothing. So each one had its own, therefore there was no uniformity. Now if I have one branch in Bangalore and one branch in Chennai, it was actually having two branches in two different countries. You know what I meant? But the laws are different here. The laws are, what is exempt here is taxable there. You know what I mean? Yeah, here there's something else I'm supposed to follow. There I have to follow something else. Here is a different form. There is something else I should do. Whereas now it is one country, one tax. You all pass your own legislature because Constitution says without you passing the law, you cannot collect the taxes. So you pass it. But all of us will still follow one system. System is one. Laws are, you have created your own. But the system is still one system only. And everywhere, it doesn't matter whether you're in Tamil Nadu or in Karnataka, you'll follow this only. Therefore, there's no change. You know what I meant here. Correct. Artha agoytu. Come to one more. Classification of goods and services. Start. For goods, we have HSN. What is HSN? And for services? We have borrowed it from the customs tariff act. Anyway, I'll explain all this a bit later when I come to that HSN calculations. Come to point number 8. Manner of utilization of ITC. ITC andre? We'll start it here. This was your input. I'm talking about Mr. B. For Mr. B, input. How much he has? 9 plus 9. 9 of CGST, 9 of SGST. I want you to imagine like this. As if this is your bank balance now. This is like what? It's like one bank balance. You have a bank balance of 9 and 9 from two accounts. SGST and... Now if you have a bank balance, when you have to make payments, you can use this to make payment. That's what I'm trying to say. For example, here, output. My output here was 10.8 and 10.8. So I have bank balance of 9 and 9. You're understanding what I'm saying? Now if I have to pay 10.8, 10.8, 9 and 9 I'll pay from here. Leftover I'll pay from my pocket separately. I'll start first in the. Think regular business. Under any business. Regular business, if you think, first you will do sales and then you will do purchases. First sales, not purchases. No. First you will have purchase, then only sales. Yes. You will sell 100 shirts, buy only 60. Is that how you will do? Or ulta? Buy 100, sell 60, remaining you will have 40 stock. You need to display no stock. So therefore, buy will always be more than sell. Are you understanding what I'm trying to tell? So if your buy is more than sell, you will have more input than output. You know what I meant? So therefore, let us say here you have sold only 2. So instead of 10.8, it was 2. But you have a 9. 2 and 9, that means you have 9 in your bank balance. You pay only 2. You still have 7 will stay as a credit. That's why it's called as an input tax credit. It will stay. Then how do you utilize it? Next time when you sell, again use it from there. But it has crossed. And if it has crossed, then you pay. Are you understanding this much? Yes or no? Now we are trying to tell which can be set off with what. Right. Now if you see the box and if I give you a box, box is important. Mark the box as important. Did you mark it as important? Let's read the box now. Let me take IGST. Now I hope you understand IGST here. IGST comes in case of So assume that was fellow from A to B, it was not local, it was interstate. Then he would have not levied CGST and SGST, he would have levied IGST. Just for your information, IGST is always the total of these two. What do you mean? Straight away 18% you would have levied. That's the difference. Instead of calling it as 9 and 9, you would have levied 18, one single stroke saying IGST 18. So suppose there is IGST. So now in his bank account he's got IGST sitting. How much? 18. That 18 he can utilize for what all outputs? One by one. IGST. Stop. IGST can be set off with? Or the same IGST can be set off even with? Or with? S and U both are same, because either you sell it to a state or you sell it to a union territory. How does it matter to me? Did you understand this? Now listen carefully. You know what it means? It means like this. If you buy local, sell local, then it is SG, SG, like what I showed here. Buy local, sell local. So it will be here C and S. Here also C and S. So C and S will go. Suppose you buy interstate, then only IG would have come. And suppose you're selling also interstate. You buy it from Bombay, sell it to Chennai. So input also IGST, output also IGST. IGST set off. One more time. You're buying it from Bombay, so I will come. But you're selling it only in Bangalore. So output will be C and S. Yeah. When your input is I, but your output is C, you can still set off with C and with S, but only one point you have to remember is it's in that order. What do you mean it is in that order? First I should be set off with I, then I should be set off with C, then leftover only can be set off with S. With the music also same answer. Oh, full consultancy for CGST. Yeah, and he's also sending message also. My bill will be so much plus CGST and IGST, SGST, Allah Akbar. Clear? All of you? Okay. Okay. Oh. Very good. Ella adjust ಮಾಡಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. Whose father what goes? Okay, can we continue? Okay, did you understand the set off concept? I repeat again. C can be set off with S, can be set off with S. That is too simple. I can be set off with I. This is general rule. Now we are telling I can be set off with I, or it can also be set off with C in that order. You know what I mean by in that order? Next, come to the next box. C can be set off with C. If you still have some more C, that means what? You're buying local, but you're selling inter. You know what I mean? You're buying it from the same state, therefore you'll be having C and S, but you're selling it as I, IGST. So your output is I, input is C and S. Did you understand? So if you have a C, C can be set off with C, or C can be set off with I also. Same thing with S also. S can be set off with S or with I. That means everything can be set off with everything except one. C cannot be set off with S, and S cannot be set off with. That's quite obvious, because both of them are going together only. Yay. Both of them are going together only. No? S and C are always going together. So it's okay. I said those two you don't link. It's a railway track. S and G. Suddenly you can say shake and go. No. You cannot come like that. Are you understanding this now? Yes. Clear? Come to need for. That is shortcomings of the earlier law. What were the problems with the old law? Hayden's rule. Mischief rule. Let's study the mischief rule now. Start. First. So what happened in the old law was where there were too many taxes. One sales tax was there, luxury tax is there, entertainment, lot of taxes. Whereas now we made everything into one law called GST. Second. Stop. What do you mean by non-vatable? Very good. Set off is not allowed. When I say non-vatable, it means non-set offable. There is no such word, okay? So if we say vatable, means set offable. If it is non-vatable, non-set offable. That means you can't do a set off. Did you understand this? So we are talking about vatable and non-vatable. Vatable means this is vatable. That's why I told you this is VAT. Correct? So this was VAT. That means you can do a set off. Non-vatable means? Hey, listen. Wherever I use the word non-vatable, that means your purchase price will no more be 100. Your purchase will be 118, because this 18 will not sit into any bank account. It is not sitting as a credit for you to utilize it later. So now this is vatable, therefore 18 sat separately and only 100 went here. If I say the same transactions was not vatable, obviously as a businessman you have paid 118, means you have to recover full 118 now. So you will take full 118 here only. Then there will be a tax on tax. Did you understand? So old law had a problem of non-vatable, whereas new law does not have the problem of, no, every law has an exception. So here also there are some transactions which are outside. For example, alcoholic liquor is outside. Where is the question of GST only for that? Petrol, diesel and all, I told you currently it is not in GST. And then there will be some more items which is non-vatable. That I will tell you exceptions everywhere. Every rule will have a exception. But for time being, understand so much that you get a general rule of input and output. Whereas under old law, we have many non-vatable transactions. One more point. CENVAT. What do you mean by the word CENVAT? Central Value Added Tax. This is related to excise duty. Related to what? Who pays excise duty? Manufacturer. It is paid only by the biggest problem. I'll tell you why. Toyota will manufacture the car. They will manufacture the car, they will levy excise duty. You are the dealer in buying and selling cars. You have got this showroom wherein you buy and sell. Ravindu Toyota, you are buying the cars from Toyota and selling it. Now when you buy the cars from Toyota and you sell, where you will get input output of excise duty? Because you are not manufacturer. Who are you? Dealer. That means you only buy and sell. So you Guyana, that means your excise duty, what has been paid, that becomes a cost. That means straight away goes and sits in cost. Then there will be sales tax on that also now. And that means there's a tax on tax already. Whereas for Toyota, they buy glass for the car from a glass manufacturer. Then the glass manufacturer would have levied excise duty. And for Toyota, because they are also manufacturers, they will claim input output set off of that. That is why it was still called CENVAT. Central Value Added Tax, because there is input output set off as between manufacturer and manufacturer. Between manufacturer and manufacturer, they can always do set off. But the moment it leaves the manufacturer's chain and starts coming to distributors, wholesalers, retailers, finished. It becomes cost. If it becomes cost, there will be a tax on tax. Whereas under GST law, there is nothing called excise duty. Everything is called GST. So no difference between manufacturer and a dealer. Did you understand this? So manufacturer also will levy GST. You will also levy GST. So GST, you can do a set off. Artha Aita. Next point. What is the next point? No? I have already explained that. Next one. VAT was levied by state government. Service tax levied by central government. Obviously, there was nothing called as integration. Next point. To give you one classic example, software. State government said software is goods because you can buy that tally package. They'll give you one CD. Take and go. It is goods. They said levy sales tax. Central government said no, software is service. Therefore, they levy service tax. Both of them levied. Now imagine the fate of the consumer now. He has to pay both. And now if you buy a Microsoft package, Microsoft Windows, if you see the bill of Microsoft, they will levy both. VAT also they will levy. Service tax. So they'll tell it is goods also, it is service. Because they'll say, what is my problem? Because each fellow is fighting. What do you mean each fellow? State is telling goods. Center is telling service. And both are telling give me tax. So Microsoft said, you do whatever you want. I'll levy both because ultimately we will pay. Consumer, and they levied. Now ultimate sufferer is consumer, because for the same product is paying two. One as goods and one as service. Whereas now it is called GST, goods and. So it's only one tax now. Ultimately both of them will share. 9 if you share, over now. Therefore that double tax is not there from this angle of whether it's goods or service. Are you understanding? That problem is avoided. Understood? Go to next page. Items not covered under GST, underline that heading and mark it as important. Did you underline that heading? Mark it as important. Start. First point. You already know all these points. Start. First point. Outside the purview of GST. It comes under the respective state laws and not under the GST law. Second. Now you need to understand the difference between first point and second point. There is a difference. First point is totally outside GST. Second point, currently not there, tomorrow it will come. Tomorrow means not Saturday. Tomorrow it will come. You know what I am talking about. So once the GST council decides, from that effective date, it will come back to this law. That's why all these petrol bunks went on strike, saying that bring petrol also under GST, why you are not giving us a benefit? Because for them, if they come under GST, they can do input-output set-off. Now they are outside that, they are not able to do input-output set-off. So for them it's becoming tax on tax. So now put us also under GST. So the council has to decide. Ultimately it will take time, but it is going to come. But alcoholic liquor, they are absolutely outside GST, then okay about it. And the last one is? Read. Because every state has their own law, no? BESCOM. Bangalore electricity is not all India. You know what I'm talking about, right? So everywhere you have your own respective electricity board, so they will take it separately. Come to note. What is the note? All repeat points. All repeated points. Read. First point. Now, because I told you that petrol, diesel is outside GST, that means it should be inside somewhere. Is outside here means inside somewhere. Where is that inside somewhere? Inside excise. One interesting point is that if you see in the wordings, tobacco I have used that word. Can you read point number 3 first now? What is point number 3? No, I don't know what you're reading. Main point number 3. Not sub point number 3, main point number 3. Read point number 3 now. You have both this. GST also, central excise. So tobacco currently has got both the taxes. What does it mean both the taxes? GST also and good law. Why? Sin goods. So therefore we want to burn him full before he can burn. You know what I mean, right? We will burn him before he can burn. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸುಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ he can shoot, right? Understood what I said? Okay, understood. Now come back to these points now. So point number 1 aita. In point number 1 is over. What is point number 1, 2? So because you know alcohol liquor is also outside GST, it's inside state law. So therefore who is going to levy the taxes? State government will levy. Third one. Again, they levy VAT also on petrol and all that because it's still under the state law and not the center. Come to next one. Point number 2, I already explained. Same point. Point number 3 also explained. Done? Super. Answer these questions. Question number 3. GST is applicable on number 1, petrol? No. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption? No. Tobacco? Yes. Natural gas? No. 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 Okay. Currently only tobacco. Petrol, natural gas and all that? Future. Alcoholic liquor? Never for the time being. Okay. Never for the time being. Yeah, never. Come to question number 4. What is question number 4? Alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Second, tobacco, healthcare services, all of the above. Only alcoholic, because the rest of them are all taxable here. Point number 5. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿ ಸಾಕಾಯ್ತು. Point number 5. Start. First point says GST is not levied at all. Nah. Second one. That becomes the answer. Third one. We are not levied only. Next one. Adu bere. Okay. Come to question number 6. What is question number 6? You tell me. All goods and services. Except, you know it. Starting, same page, starting. Alcoholic liquor, petrol, diesel, electricity. Bola re. Okay. Come to right side of the page. What is the right side of the page now? Okay. What do you mean by subsumed? Okay. That means all this has now come under. If I give you a box, mark the box as important. Let's read the box. Shall we? Start. Central levy is to be subsumed. That means because GST has come, all this will go. What all? Again, don't get confused. For all the transactions, it's gone. Except for those fellows like tobacco. That I've already explained. All the exceptions I've discussed. Now we're coming back to general rule. As a general rule, these fellows will not have anything. Continue. Yeah, I hope service tax and all is removed because we created GST. One more. One more. Idennidu CVD and all. Countervailing duty and special countervailing duty. If you don't know the spelling, it's okay. It's been removed. Next. Central sales tax. One more. Okay, all these were the central laws which has been removed. Now come this side. State levy is to be subsumed, which has been now been absorbed by GST itself. Start. Second. Third. Next. 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 Last. All this has been now part of GST now. Because GST has come, all this is not there for all that. Are you clear with this now? Super. Again one MCQ. Start. One by one. Central sales tax, is it subsumed? Yes. Central excise duty is subsumed? Yes. VAT subsumed? Yes. All of the above? Of course. Now come to the heading called as GST Council. What is it called? No, we have to talk about GST Common Portal first. Okay, let's read about GST Common Portal. Start. Goods and Service Tax Network, GSTN. Start. First point. Stop. Do you remember for all company law filings, you use mca.gov.in, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. This is GST, Government of India. This is the website what you use for everything. Continue. Okay, point number 2. Underline the last part which says one single common portal. It is one single common portal for all of them. What do you mean? We use only one portal and that is why it will hang. Whole country, can you imagine this? Because everybody is doing some business or some service. Is either into business or is into service. Is in the business industry or the service industry. All of them will click dumb. You understand? And automatically when you do it, it'll know what I mean, right? It's okay. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ time ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ. Now it has become all right. Last day it will still not work. So that's why we should never wait for last day. Before everything should be done on last day. Last day means it will become due. That means it will become next day only. It's gone. Too many people. Point number 3. Okay, what all? Everything you do it through GST portal only. Second, even your registration is through GST portal. Third, because once you file with a common portal, it is their job, that is the software job, to ensure it goes to the respective state, the respective officer. That is not my job, it is the software job. Next one. That also will be taken by software only. Next. This is like how I explained to you yesterday about your TDS. Once you pay here in ETDS returns, then it sits in a 26AS, we'll link it. Voila, like that only here also input, output, they have to link it. So the linking has to be done by software. It's a big job. I hope you understand it's a massive effort. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, because you just imagine now, we are talking about millions and millions of transactions and have to link all those transactions between to whom it was sold and ultimately who is, because this will now if he has to do set off. You understand what I'm saying? Here, he was supposed to pay how much? 10.8, but he's minusing 9. Now to minus this 9, when he puts his GST number, it should show saying that he has already paid 9 there, and therefore he's minusing that and paying only balance. So it means that matching concept must happen. Like how I told you TDS. If TDS is done and I open my account, it will show it to me saying that that fellow has done TDS and is sitting in my account. Like that for all these fellows, it will sit in their respective accounts. So that means when that fellow is selling, he has to put my GST and details. If he puts my GST details, then automatically based on my GST details, it will sit in my account. Then I can claim it as input. Then when I am selling it to that fellow, I have to put his GST details saying that I have sold it to him. Then it will go and sit into his account. For each one of them to do matching there and then do a set off. Are you understanding this? So it's a big job. It's not an easy activity to do. Next one. Now if you have been seeing the newspapers, it says that the total collections of GST for this month is so much. So many users have filed. How will they know all that? From the software. It will throw up the information saying that this is what has happened. One more. It's for all your ITC set-offs, they will take care. Come to benefits of GST. First benefit of GST, start. Underline the word common tax rates and procedures. Common tax rates and procedures. That means one country. Now you know what I mean. Although we have the separate laws created in every state, it's still one country, one tax. Anywhere in the country, the rate is the same. Procedure also is the same. Doesn't matter whether you're in Tamil Nadu or whether you're in Karnataka or in West Bengal. So the procedure will be the same. So one country, one tax. That is what we mean by one country, one tax. Next one. Underline the word allowing set off. Allowing set off. Correct? Because you allow the set off, therefore automatically it becomes a no cascading effect. Otherwise there would have been cascading effect. Next. Underline the word elimination of multiple taxes. Next one. Underline the word competitive in the national as well as international market. Obviously, because the moment you say there's a benefit of input-output set-off, then the total cost of the product is coming down. If the cost is coming down, automatically you're becoming more competitive in the international product. Otherwise, it becomes very costly for anybody to buy it from you. If you know China, how China could enter into everybody's market? Cheap. Because the first word that comes for China is cheap. China, the cheap. Although, not a joke, that's how it is. That's how they entered into every market. Because the price at which they were giving was very, very cheap. So China product means cheap. That's what they said. China tarar badat. Yeah, cheap badat. Okay, right. So, that's how they came into market, because they made it very reasonable. Next one. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು. Buy fancy dress ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. Okay. Buoyancy to the right. Time pass. What is buoyancy, sir? What is buoyancy? Meaning? Adukon meaning bere. What is buoyancy and the upthrust? Correct. But adukon meaning kodabeki ivaga. There's a buoyancy is what we're telling to the government revenue. Yeah, push. Correct agi helbitru. Simple agi. Upthrust and a push. There's a push to the total revenues to the government. Why? Because if everybody has covered under input, output, that means the whole chain becomes white money rather than becoming black money. The biggest drawback of GST is white and black. It is encouraging you for white transactions and discouraging you from black transactions, because if you do a black transaction, you can't do input output set off. I know what I mean. It becomes cost for you. It becomes cost for you means your price goes up, your profit will come down. I don't know if you can understand the logic there. Are you clear? Therefore, automatically, people who were always used to doing, they will find it difficult with GST. So they will be the first people to oppose. I don't like GST. Obviously, why? Because it's going against demonetization. Obviously, the first fellows will oppose this whom. It's like that. This also is the same story. Are you clear? Next one. Let's talk about the GST Council. Hey, all the decisions that is happening in GST is taken by. That is why every 3 months it is changing. Why? Because when they meet, they will take a new decision, because we are still in the infant stage. We are still in the teething problem, it is called. There's still a teething problem in the sense that it's too new. And therefore they face some problem and say, okay, we change kar denge. Aise karenge, waise karenge. And they kept on changing the law non-stop every time, because they're still in the learning phase. Somebody had to start. And we learn from implementation and say, okay, I don't think it's working like this, so let's make a little more change in this. Okay, I don't think people are happy with this, let's make a change. I think this is not too much of a problem. Let's make a change. So GST Council will take all those decisions. Let's read. Start. Underline Article 279A. So which article gives you the power to create this GST Council? If you can understand, it's coming through the Constitution. So that means it's not an ordinary body. That means one of the highest ones, because coming through the Constitution itself. So it is the Constitution creating the powers under Article 279A, and then underline the words which says President of India. Now who is got the powers now? So the GST Council has been created through whom? President of India. So underline the word President of India and underline the word to constitute a joint forum of center and states. So therefore, this GST Council consists of whom all? Center and states. So center and all the states are there. Second point. Underline the word chairman. Arun Jaitley. Why? Whoever is the Union Finance Minister, he will head it. Then members. Underline the word members. They're all from the respective states. They've all come from the respective states. All of them are members. So therefore, you got every state participating here, whether it's a state or a union territory, all of them are there. Artha aagta hai diya? Next. Point 3. What should be the tax rate? What should be the exemptions? What should be the threshold limits up to which it is not taxable or taxable? What should be the dispute resolution? How should we close all the disputes? Everything is given as a recommendation by whom? GST Council. So that is their job to come out with all the answers for all this. Clear with this? Next. That's the most important point. Mark this point number 4 as important. Point number 4 as important. Let's start. Every decision of the GST Council is taken by A. You can call it a special resolution. You remember special resolution? Special resolution requires how many? 75% andre 3/4. 75% means 3/4. Therefore, it has to be a special resolution. Now comes the problem. I'll tell you what is the problem. If you simply say special resolution, 75% majority. Now, all the members are all the state governments and the central government. States are so many. Center is 1. Oh, howdu. What? Center means how many is there? 1. States means how many are there? Many. Correct or not? So, imagine the GST Council now. Ultimately, who will overpower? State will overpower. Why? Because they are only majority. Central will be watching. That cannot happen. And therefore we created a weightage. This is like how we told in company law, shares with differential rights as to voting. You remember that? Like that we created a weightage. What is the weightage? Next point. Okay, so state will get, center will get 1/3. States will get, stop. Now look at the beauty of law. Now if you can understand the mathematics here, even if all states come together, they still have only 2/3. That means they can't pass a special resolution. 2/3 is not 75%. You know what I mean? Or if center alone decides, still they also cannot pass. That means it has to be a concurrence of center and the state if you want that recommendation to go through. Did you understand the whole logic of that law? Yes, so you require a special resolution, but the weightage is 1/3 and 2/3. That means even if all the states come together, they still can't pass this resolution because you still need the permission of center, which is a good law. Obviously, it's a very good law. Similarly, center cannot simply do whatever they want without the taking the permission of states. I think you understood this, the beautiful math here. Are you clear with this now? Okay, got it. Artha goita? Awesome. So that's an important point. Let's come to question number 8. Start. $279. Yeah. Next. 1 minute. Weightage of the vote for the center. Center has 1/3. State has 2/3. Next one. States has 2/3. Last one. Chairman. Union Finance Minister. Artha agoytu. Yes or no? Awesome. Come to question number 12. Question number 12. Mark question number 12 as homework. Why question number 12 is homework is because it's the same as what I've explained here, except that the numbers are different. Numbers are different, names are different, that's it. But otherwise, it's the same as what I've already explained. So mark it as homework. That is question number 12. But I want you to read question number 13. Let's come to question number 13. This we will look at it now. Shall we? Let's look at question number 13. Start. Sorry, wo sumne odi. Yeah, ईमानदारी नहीं है वो, या ईमांग नहीं है वो. Okay, IMAG, an advertising agency. IMAG, an advertising agency located in Mumbai. Okay. Stop. Who is selling to whom? IMAG to fragrance. Where are they located? Mumbai. Continue. For a value of? Then. Stop. IMAG is selling it to fragrance. Correct? This is from where to where? Which one? This is intra. Correct? Then. Fragrance to? Yargadu? To Mr. B. Idu? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. B is selling it to? I have told you some different state. If nothing is told, it must be local. It must be local. Andre? Ide. Correct? Are you understanding this? It must be within the same state. This is the transaction. Yes. Now it's a combination of, now from here to here, you'll have here. Again here. Artha agoyti ivaga. You understood till here. Correct or not? Simple. So accordingly, now we'll start doing. So let's look at each of the cases, okay? Chain by chain. Let's see the first chain now. What is that supply of advertising services by IMAG to fragrance? Let's see. Value charged for advertising service. How much? 15,000. Now they have to levy which one? Correct? And how much they are levying? 6 and 6. The question says 6 and 6, so you take 6 and 6. You don't say no, he gave example of 9 and 9. You take 6 and 6. Okay, continue. Next one. Sale of soap by to Mr. B. Now here, fragrance to B was IGST. Therefore, if you see there, straight away 12% because you know it's a combo of boost. 12% he will charge. Now come to computation of IGST payable to government. See the board. See the board. See the board. When F has sold it to B, his output tax was output, which was in the form of IGST, was how much? 2640. Now he was supposed to pay 2640 to the government, but he will say, although it is IGST, I have a credit of these two are sitting in my bank because my input. What is the input for Mr. F? C and? Are you understanding this? And that he can do a set off. So when I sold it to F, F has already paid now these two. How much has already paid these two? One more time. 900 and? So this is sitting into his account as a credit of 900. When I already have 900, will I simply pay? No, I will not pay. I will adjust it with this 2640. Now you remember I can be adjusted with? Thank you. So therefore, if you see the box, we see the box. Can you see the box there? Come on, India. How much are you supposed to pay? 2640 minus. Again minus. Why? I have no. I already paid 900. I'll adjust both because I can be adjusted with I. C. Clear or not clear? Super. So therefore I'll adjust. Artha agoita. So after adjusting these two, so I will. This is my output, whereas these two are my input. So if I adjust this inputs here now, input, I'll take that both C and S, which is 900 and 900. Once I adjust these two, I'm left with 840. This he has to pay. Yeah, this he has to pay. He was supposed to pay 2640. Out of that, he pays only 840. Obviously, because he's already paid 900 here. 1800 is already paid now. If you already paid 1800, 2640 minus 1800, difference you have to pay now. Are you clear with this? Ho gaya? Ho gaya. Now come to this fellow now. Next, continue. There only. From B to C. Now B to C here, see the word? What is levying? CGST and SGST. How much? How much? 1800 and 1800. Correct or not? Now let's talk about here now. When B sold it to C, he has collected tax of 1800 and 1800. So logically, he should have paid this tax to the government. But he will say, I have already paid IGST of 2640. I have already paid. I am talking now from B's point of view. So from B's point of view, he has already paid 2640 to Mr. F. And therefore he says, I already have my bank account. And my bank account is I. You know what I mean? My bank account is I. We'll start again. I can be utilized for I. C. Yes. So first we'll start. What you have here is I or I. So you have I how much? 2640. First you try to adjust with I. So do you have any I here? You got I illa. So I to I not there. I to C is possible. How much is the C you have? 1800. Concentrate here. You have total I of 26 you have with you. Out of that adjust 1800. Balance 840. But here you have how to pay. Once I can adjust with that. That means I can adjust only. So I will minus my input of 840 here with S of 840. And that means I have to pay SGST of 960. I have to pay. Do you understand this? So I am not paying C. I'll pay only S. Why? Because in my set of priority, I should go to I, then I should go to C, leftover only will go to S. Did you understand this? So if you remember the box there. I to I first, then I to C, and then only leftover will go to S. Here. I to I don't have, but I to S is there. Sorry, I to C is there. So I to C I will first adjust. Leftover is 840. That I will adjust with. Yes. So I instead of paying 18, I will pay only minus 840. So how much will I pay? 960 I'll pay. So what is this 960 I'm paying? Yes, Artha Aita. So I will pay only SGST of 960. This much is clear. All of you. Now we'll start again. Here to here, which state? Which state? Maharashtra. Mumbai state. Okay. Sorry. Yeah? Then from there it came to Karnataka. Yes or no? Here also again Karnataka. Which is the destination state? So the destination state is Karnataka, right? That means once you know destination is Karnataka, and you know money always has to go to two fellows, because it's always shared. Always shared. Easy way to understand is, look at the ultimate answer. Ultimate answer is CGST 18, SGST 18. So therefore 1800 must go to central government. 1800 should go to state. Which state government? Karnataka government, not to Mumbai, not to Maharashtra. Why? Because it is destination. So I know now finally this 1800 should go to central government and this 1800 should go to. Answer is clear. Now let us do it in chain. Let us do it in chain. If you see the last box, you will understand the last box now. Can you see the last box? Come on, India. Let's see the last box there. Can you see that box which says statement of revenue owned by center and state? See that box. First in the will start. First in the. If you see in that box, inside that box only first point. What is the first point inside the box? Here. When first IMAC gave it to fragrance, you would have paid 900 as C and S. But I hope you know it would have been C is for central government, but S would have gone to. Therefore, if you see there, can you see that? I gave 900 to central government and gave 900 to Mumbai. That is the first transaction. Second transaction. Supply of goods by fragrance to, see the word. When fragrance gave it to B, ultimately B paid how much? Utna hi diya. Kitna diya? That 840 was in the form of IGST. IGST means to whom it will go? Center. So 840 has to go to center. Therefore, we see it has gone to central government. How much? 840. Artha aagta hai diya. Second transaction. Third. Here. This 900 what Mumbai got, they cannot keep with them. Why? Because the destination was not Mumbai, so they can't keep that money with them. Did you understand this? I'll start first in the. When they made the transaction, it was Mumbai only. Therefore, they had the right over that money. But because again next went off outside Mumbai, can Mumbai keep it with them? Mumbai has to give off that 900 to central government and say you give it to whomsoever you have to give. You know what I'm telling? So center will give it off to whom? State will give it off to center, telling that you do whatever you want, I don't know. So this 900 will now be given away by Mumbai to central government. So therefore it shifts. So the 900 will go out of Mumbai and goes into central government. So that is also central government now. First. Now see the board. Artha aagta hai diya? Next transaction. See the next transaction in that. B2. Here. B2. C. If you see in B2C, he adjusted everything and he paid only HGST of 960. So this would have gone to state. Which state? Karnataka. So if you see there, I have written 960 to Karnataka. Can you see the 960 to Karnataka? Because he paid this 960 as S. Come on, India. Where? To Karnataka. Therefore, this 960 goes to Karnataka. Illi vargu aita. Now we come to the beauty of it. Actually speaking, when B sold it to C, Karnataka government was supposed to get 1800, but they got only. Why Karnataka government got only 960 and not 1800? Because, see here, because this fellow adjusted his I. Adjusted his I means central government has to now give me that balance. You know what I'm telling? Karnataka ge, who should give? Central. Now I'll tell central government, neen kodo, because that I should get 1800. So whereas that 840 has adjusted with I, give me that 840 to me now. Now that 840 who will give? Central government will transfer from its treasury to state government. Once you transfer it, see the totals. Ultimate answer is simple. 1800, 1000 rupees should go. It has gone. I am only trying to tell you how it went. Hey, did you understand this now? Final answer is very easy. Because you know ultimate answer is 1800 and 1800 between C and S. That answer is easy. But how it went at every stage is what I am trying to explain. This is not your problem. This is the problem of the governments and the software to take care of all that. So your GST software has to take care of all these things, it is not your problem and my problem. ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Because government ka problem hai. We are not talking about your problem and my problem is only to do set off. What do you mean set off? I should be adjusted with C. I should that and all is our problem that we should learn. Government will that and all let them discuss. Ultimately, because the respective governments must get their monies. Are you clear? Did you understand how this whole concept of GST works? If you have understood so much, based on this, the entire foundation of GST is laid. If you have understood this, that means you are clear with the foundation of GST. Are you clear with the foundation of GST? Are you clear with the concept of CSI? All of you? And you know what is goods? What is services? Yes or no? And you understood the concept of input, output, set off. And you also understood the concept of destination based. This explains to you destination. That's why if you see in the last box there, Mumbai never got any money at all. Why? Because destination was not in Mumbai. So the only fellows have to get is Karnataka, and anyway it has to be equal. Because you know it's always equal numbers. So therefore they should ensure that ultimately they get equal share. Are you clear? Yes, easy? Yes, awesome. I hope you have understood this part. We'll take a break and I'll see you again. Break a bar. Then we'll see the actual GST. This was only the foundation. Foundation ready, now building will construct. Break a baad. I'll see you again. Break ke baad.